Welcome back to the story of my samurai and the way of the warrior. Let's continue. Eddie heard the angry crowd. Time was important. Less time on the ground meant less chance of trouble. Fights were happening more often, and more people seemed to be getting hurt recently. Lenny was quick to organize his team. Let's go, he said through the open channel. Where the fuck is Eddie? Malik was quick to reply. Dunno, boss. It's all good here. We're setting the test drill in place now. He switched to Eddie's private channel. Get those chemicals over here now, Eddie. We need to corrupt the site before we sample and confiscate it. The receiver fell silent as Eddie removed his helmet, then powered down his suit. The cooling and communication systems deactivated automatically. He slipped out of his Vero Corp gear and stood calmly next to the pod's storage compartment. His lightweight, sweat-soaked clothing flapped in the warm breeze, and he fixed his gaze on the nearby crowd, staring at a woman and her young children. Eddie recognized his mother's friend, but she hadn't seen him behind the shuttle. She was crying and yelling, angry at what was happening. He felt something stir in his chest, a tightening, like a spring being twisted. The young man shook his head and blinked as the voice called him by name. Rise up and walk away, Eddie. Do not be part of this injustice. This is not the way of the warrior. A strong hand gripped his arm. Wincing, he spun around. Eddie, we need the chems. Lenny's pissed. Stop messing around! Malik snarled at him through stained, broken teeth. Gear up now! Eddie looked at the crowd. What's going on over there? Looking bewildered, Malik brought his wrinkled face closer. You know what's going on, Eddie, he said, lowering the tone of his voice. We're doing our job. We're confiscating the water bore and helping the people stay safe. Get to work. What's got into you today? We're running out of time. Eddie stared back at Malik and shook his head. That's unfair and it's wrong. They should get to keep the water they find on their land. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Eddie's brain was a cavern of chaos. It was like he'd lost control of everything. First his body and now his words. The harder he resisted, the worse it seemed to get. He knew it was him speaking and he kind of agreed with what he was saying. But no, he didn't want to say it. Not now. Not any time. He didn't see Malik's hand move until it was tight around his shirt, and his body was thrust hard against the pod. He closed his eyes, waiting for Malik's bony fist to connect like it had during his first week on the job. He knew he deserved the hiding. He had it coming. Suddenly he heard a choking sound and felt Malik release his grip. Opening his eyes, he stared in disbelief as his rugged workmate dangled in the air. The warrior was standing behind him, gripping his neck with his gloved hand. He released Malik, who collapsed heavily onto the ground. Eddie watched in shock as the warrior pressed his armored foot down onto Malik's throat and shifted his enormous weight downward. Malik's face quickly turned red, and his eyes bulged. Another younger team member had arrived. What you doing, Malik? Get up! Eddie realized they couldn't see the warrior. Stop, he said. Releasing his enemy, the warrior moved swiftly to stand at Eddie's side. The VoroCorp worker struggled to his feet, coughing. His workmate helped him up. We're gonna smash you, he said. Malik gasped and staggered away. No! Leave him alone. Let's go. As they left together, Malik glanced back. Eddie saw the fear in his eyes and smiled. Leaving his uniform on the ground, he grabbed his bag and sprinted to a gap in the security perimeter. He looked around for the warrior, but he'd disappeared. Join us again for episode 9.